name is Bristle, and you're watching Mr. Amir's cartoon class.
Hello everyone, welcome to Mr. Amir's cartoon class. Thank you again, Bristle, of course, always. Welcome to you guys another beginner video of Amir's cartoon classes. So, today who we're going to be painting is, we're going to be painting Craig from Craig of the Creek. The reason why we are painting Craig from Craig of the Creek is because we are doing a short little week of a Black History Month celebration. So the last week of February I will be doing 3 black characters for Black History Month. Craig of the Creek being one of them. You guys will also see in the intermediate section there is going to be Huey Freeman, and for our advanced section this week we will also have Afro Samurai. So with Craig, we're going to start off by, of course, drawing the head shape. So the head shape is always going to come first. Take off my lucky glove. As you guys can see, it gets really cold out here in New York. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to give him this upper part of his head. It's pretty rounded off right there. Okay, and then you're just going to make this lump right here, where it kind of looks like a heart shape, but isn't one fully. I'm just going to come down and around here. Okay, so let's do that first. Right. Wait for you guys to finish. Make sure you see. Okay, is everybody following along? Great. Alright, so now you're going to bring this part of his face down, and then in a bit, and then you're going to poke it a little bit out. You're going to give him a big head, because we're just doing the upper part of his body. And you're going to come up and down, and you're going to connect this face here. Okay, so this is what your finished head shape should look like for Craig. It is what we call an irregular shape. Irregular shapes are shapes that cannot be defined, or we cannot specifically define. So there's, of course, you know, circles, ovals, triangles. Those have actual specific names. Trapezoids. An irregular shape is a shape that we cannot fully comprehend or understand because it is not within the bounds or shape structures of what we've built out within history. So we just call the shapes that we don't know or we don't have a full name for irregular shapes. So this is, his head shape is an irregular shape. Alright, so next up is you're going to turn this part right here into an oval. Just in here. That's supposed to be his ear. So that oval is his ear. Okay? And then, of course, with many black characters' cuts, you got a nice little hairline that goes right through here. Okay. So now you have this ear, you have this hairline, you have this hair. Okay? Boom. Next up, you're going to do 2 big oval eyes. So his eyes are close towards the center, but you're going to make sure that you make them big and oval. Like so. 1 and 2. Now, I've watched this show recently, within the last 5 years, and it's a very chilled out show. It's not very like of course the kids go on adventures, but it's very realistic to the to reality. It's not like little kids going on extraordinary adventures that don't make any sense for any child. It's mostly like finding a frog in the middle of of the lake. I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty accurate to regular life. Alright, so next what you guys are going to do is you're going to add the nose. So the nose is, you're just going to do 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down, and then 1 up right there. So you should just go up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so just put 2 hills on his nose and then curve it like a comma on either side. Okay? Then you're going to put a little rainbow arch right here below. And then you're going to make a big, giant hot dog smile. Make a giant hot dog right here. Boom. So there's his mouth. Okay. Good. If you think his jaw is a little too skinny, like I do, I'm going to bring it down just a little bit lower. So you got most of the facial structure down. Now all you got to do is add his pupils, which are closer to the middle of his face. So you're going to put one pupil here and put one pupil here. And so he's looking, and all you're going to do is add some teeth. And a tongue. Craig also has some eyebrows here and up here. And that's it for his face. So a lot of the faces within this time period of animation, a lot of people call this the Cal art style. I like to call this the bean mouth smile. A lot of these characters have a lot of the same template shape. So like, let's say you were to change, you would use the same facial shape and then just change it, alter the hair a bit into like a fro, a curly fro, maybe separate the eyes a little bit more, and then change the nose. You'd have Steven Universe. So a lot of these same characters have the same head shape because it's good to be repetitive when animating. Alright, so now you're going to add his neck, which is of course a little small rectangle, and then you're going to add a V right here for his hoodie and a little gap right there so you guys can get a little bit of that circular fashion. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to add a little bit of a curve up and down right here. You're going to make a little cylinder right here. Okay, then you're going to erase the center right here, and then you're going to just connect this into the sweater so you have his hoodie. Okay, you're going to do the same thing with the opposite side, but a little bit less. So you're going to just curve right here, erase this joint in the middle, and then basically have his hoodie. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make his arms. His arms are small rectangles, skinny rectangles. You're going to bend this one a little bit. He's got his hands on his hip. And then you guys are going to create his hand. So his hand is huge because he's a cartoon character, so you can make one thumb. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's your hand. So now you have his arm, his body, his neck. Now you're going to do his body, which is, you're going to come up here, you're going to just come straight down, go around, and then on this side there's a little bit of a ripple over here, so make sure you put a little valley and hill right this way, and then come back up, and then you're going to bend his arm this way, because he's holding a little staff. staff, you're gonna just put this thumb here, and each finger is going to be a little oval. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull up those. I'm just gonna make sure his arm is skinny. I don't want to have too much extra space for his arm. This is not supposed to be as big. As the rest of his body. I'm just gonna erase this extra line we have here. Okay, so now you have his hands, his body, his arms. Okay, you're gonna add a line down the middle to simulate his zipper of his hoodie. And you're gonna give his pants. So his pants, of course, are just straight down from here. And you're gonna do the same thing. And then you're gonna do a little bit of a bridge point right here. That's it. So there's his pants.
Oh. It's so shivering there. Yeah, I have some sweet milk you want. Okay. Okay. Fresh coffee, you just made it.
And then the last part, what you guys are going to add is his staff. So his staff is, I'm going to make a little circle right here. And just make sure this comes all the way down. Either side. And then just cap it this way. Right above here, you should make a big circle. This is staff is a circle, not an oval. Okay. Nice big circle here, and a nice diamond shape. Nice square shape on top, and then a diamond at the very top. So I'm gonna add a square right here. And then you're gonna add a diamond at the very top. So you're gonna go boom, 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 and boom. Okay. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna split it in half. Split the diamond in half. Split it like this to give it that three-dimensional shape. And put a little arch here, and a little arch here for a little bit of darker glow. And that's it. You guys have your pencil draw of Craig from Craig of the Creek. After we finish this, we're going to make sure we separate his vest from his sleeves. So once we are done with this, then we are going to, of course, outline like we have done before. I'm going to erase this line as well. So we're going to outline and then finally paint. All right? Good. Hope you guys are enjoying, and I'll be right back when we begin to outline and paint. All right, guys, so now we're going to outline briefly. So when outlining, of course, you're following your lines precisely. But you also want to pick a marker that has thin enough lines to where it doesn't overshadow majority of the piece. So, but you want to make sure that those lines are bold for you to see. Because if you miss a line, miss a single thing, you'll have a different image than what you want to have. Okay. So all the lines are necessary when creating your characters, as well as all the lines are necessary for you to follow throughout creation. So now you see how fast that was. I'm just gonna do the same thing here. Follow all your lines. If you set all your lines correctly, it shouldn't be too difficult. A lot of this I learned while painting out on the streets in 2020. I had a whole art scene of mentors in my early 20s. So I was able to grasp onto and understand different art styles and different methods of creating from different people. So once I learned those methods, it was important to me to start educating and teaching people on how those styles work. But me personally, I've always had a mind of loving cartoons more than anything else. So that is always going to be my first love, first opportunity, my first I guess painting style that really resonates with me. You know, there's been many other styles I've done. So I've done my own type of cubism. You know, I've done versions of not only cubism but expressionism, whatever isms there are in the world. I've tried it. You know, but it was when working with other artists that I started to realize there's a lot more for me to learn and a lot more for me to grasp onto as I continue to teach myself artistically. So now that I've gained those things after about 7 or 8 years of what I believe was learning the basics, I'm now here to, you know, reiterate those same exact basics that I learned for myself for you guys. Alright, so we are completed with our outline, and once you guys have finished your outline, the next part is, of course, going to be shading and filling. So we'll be right back, and I will catch you guys once we start to fill. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start and begin to paint. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to do a skin tone, which is brown. You might have to do 2 layers of this. So you're just going to put that burnt sienna. Add a little bit of black to that. Just a little bit of darker tone because he's a little bit darker. Boom. There you go. Yeah. I'm just going to smooth that out all throughout his skin tone. You see how I just go around those lines. Just travel around the lines. Don't shade them in, just go around them. Just dodging lines. See, I'm using a thicker brush because when you learn how the rotation of the brushes work, because see how this brush is, you use this flat part, it takes up so much space. You see how much space it took up? And you just do the flat part. But if you go in like this, you can make your brush a lot skinnier and get those finer lines in between. And of course you can always get a smaller brush, but to save yourself some time, if you're a little bit, advanced, or an advanced beginner and you can follow these lines, then you need to be taking our intermediate classes, but but most likely you could just utilize the brush in that same type of technique and way. Instead of switching your brush every 2 seconds. But if you are just starting out, I would recommend switch your brush every 2 seconds because it helps you get your hand more steady in understanding what brushes to use, because you don't want to use a small brush when making bigger characters or bigger, you have more shading to do in certain aspects or parts of the person or character that you're painting. So skin tone's basically filled in. Just have to do his neck and his hands. Of course, we have a couple more layers. Some facial structures. It's evened out. Okay, you can add some brown right here. All throughout. Make sure the character is fully colored in. You can also do it on this hand. Make sure you leave all those lines showing so you can see that his fist is closed. Okay. Oh. So you got his skin tone down. His skin is down. And then you're going to do the next part, which is his hoodie. So next up is his hoodie. You're going to get your smaller brush. You're going to brush on his hoodie with this ultra light blue. It's very baby blue like. and some lighter blues with darker blues. Builds out this nice light blue color. Guess we're gonna outline this one last time before we're done. So you have his jacket now. There's his jacket. Next up is his sleeves. Sleeves are this bright yellow. Just nice bright yellow right here. To some of his sleeves. On either side. As you have that light blue and bright yellow, and you're gonna finish this up with that darker blue. And that darker blue is going to be for his pants area. You guys wash off your brushes. Get that mid blue right here. So I'm just going to finish this other leg. Do this diamond shape. So it's that's in this light. end once it's dry. Okay, now last part is all the black areas. This hair. Add some black hairs in there. There's dark red. Go over here. Alright, and then finally you're going to paint in the stove. Color. Okay. Painted his mouth, painted everything else. And we're just going to paint in this step, and we're going to wait to dry, and then we will re-outline everything. should be it. There you guys go. When I return, you guys will be able to see me re-outline the character, and then you guys will be finally finished with Craig from Craig of the Creek. Alright, so now that we finished letting it dry, now all we have to do is just re-outline our character to make the lines defined again. And show now. So you're gonna add tongue again, everything that you just filled in, you're just gonna re-outline those to just exaggerate and show that the character is still the exact same as when you sketched it. You just needed to have a little bit more of an outline after being painted in. You're just going to follow all those same lines you put down previously before, just indenting them so you can really get a view of what the character's supposed to look like. And you just gotta continue to just outline those same lines. Just gonna draw that lines out. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed making Craig from Craig of the Creek. As you guys know, as you guys saw in the Afro Samurai video, you guys will see the finished version of last week's piece today. So, because we are in our beginner classes, you guys will see that we have the beginnings of a Bluey life. Bluey is now available on my website. Link in the description. I love you all, and I very much appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.